right, welcome to the cast. We are so glad that you're here with us tonight. We are joined by Pastor Chris again, and then my co-host is Gary West, and I'm Emily Porter. We're so glad to have you here. We are talking about Easter tonight. We're launching this like the week before Easter, I think that is. Okay. Yeah, so we're just going to talk about traditions, things that, maybe we remember from celebrating Easter and amongst other things. So just kind of enjoy it. It'll be a fun, relaxed one. But first, Tia and Shannon are going to kick us off with a little quiz game, whatever they have ready for us.
Okay, so this is from Parade Magazine. I've got some questions. How many chocolate bunnies are produced each year? How many do you think?
Oh my goodness.
How many chocolate bunnies?
How many chocolate bunnies?
What falls under the category of chocolate bunny?
It has to be chocolate, Pastor, and it has to be a bunny.
But there's like
that's it.
peanut
All right.
butter, there's...
Are they filled, not filled, hollow, or just all forms of chocolate bunnies?
Chocolate bunny.
It's not a spreadsheet.
Parade did not clarify for us.
No.
Okay.
I'm going to go with 2 million. That's my guess.
I'm gonna go for 250 million.
Oh, yeah. Okay. That sounds better.
I'm thinking 251 million.
Jerk.
It is 90 million.
90.
Emily gets it.
Emily was
She
close.
didn't go over.
Yes.
I don't really like chocolate bunnies, so maybe that's why I underestimated it.
But in a everybody has the Easter basket shows up, and there are levels of candy in the Easter basket, and chocolate bunny is not high, but it's got to be in there. And you eat all the good stuff first, and then you eat the next round, and then you eventually get to the chocolate bunny. That if you're in my life, you saw in half and fill with peanut butter, because that's how Jesus eats his chocolate bunnies.
You fill it with peanut butter, then whoever's buying your bunny is wrong. It's got to be a solid chocolate bunny to be a true Easter
you told
basket
me
bunny.
Chocolate bunny.
Well, no, I mean
that's what I went off
I'm
of.
saying this is it's 90 million, and your hollow bunny counts.
Okay.
But I'm really sorry that you have a hollow Easter.
My
Hollow
papa
bunny
hid
counts.
hollow Easter bunnies for us.
We didn't really
No,
get
but you can
Easter
fill them with
baskets.
whatever you want. That's the beauty.
Well, now I feel like that's the best because you can fill it with whatever.
No, there's only
Jelly?
If you're going to fill it with something, you can only fill it with peanut butter.
Marshmallow, peanut butter.
I was thinking you were going to say...
M&Ms.
Wait, did you say jelly?
I don't know. I was just trying to think of things to fill
It
it with.
was like raspberry
Who's
filled.
filling their
Like
bunny with
raspberry, like
jelly?
really good
Oh, I would eat
raspberry
that.
with
not jelly.
like chocolate.
It's like a filling. Yeah, I'm with you there.
Well, I mean, you got to buy the good jelly, like almost like the homemade, like
We call that jam.
raspberry
We call that jam.
So something you
jelly.
put Vegemite on? Would you put Vegemite?
Oh, shut your mouth right now.
I'm just asking.
No, Vegemite goes on toast and a walnut Vegemite sandwich. That's it.
A walnut Vegemite
I
sandwich?
knew I'd get you on that one. So the two acceptable ways to eat Vegemite is on toast with butter,
Acceptable.
and then you dot it. And then the second way is a Marmite or Vegemite and walnut sandwich. So you put butter on it, then you put the veg on it, then you get little walnuts and you crush them up. I haven't had one in forever. Why do I want one so badly right now?
Do they still produce Vegemite?
Oh yeah, I buy it all the time. Amazon is fantastic. Amazon was my deliverance because you couldn't get it in this country for years. And then I thought to myself, wonder if Amazon has it. You can order it. It's magnificent. You want some, don't you?
If you're watching
I don't know, I'm
this
curious.
podcast, you could see my face. It's disgusted. It's
Have you ever tried it?
I've never tried it.
I can't.
Then you don't even know.
I can't look at it, and
Can
it
you
smells
get
funny.
it? Can you get it at the Walmart?
At the Walmart?
Can you get it? Can you get the Vegemite at the
What's it
Walmart?
called? Like, in New Zealand, yes.
Wow.
Australia, yes.
There's Walmart in New Zealand?
There's so many things you can't get in Beffer, including consonants.
Oh, okay, Shannon. You have another one?
Wow.
Question 2. As we all know, the Easter Bunny is its home is the United States of America. But my question is, which state did it originate in? And we'll just go closest to this. Now, I don't think anybody's going to get this, but closest wins.
The Easter Bunny.
It originated in one specific state.
Alabama.
I got a 1 in 50 shot.
Pretty much.
Okay, we got Alabama already.
Yep.
Okay, no. No, it feels Rhode Island. Going Rhode Island.
California.
Oh. No.
Wow.
Santa looks so disgusted. You idiots.
The correct state is Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania.
Oh, because
I thought they had the
Hershey's.
groundhog.
Tia seems to think it's because of Hershey's. But
I just pull. I
think
have
I'm with Gary.
nothing to base that
I think
on.
it has something to do. They're connected. Punxsutawney Phil is with
Yeah.
Bugs Bunny somehow.
I just tried to pick the state with the most people, and I thought that was the best chance.
California, yeah, I
I don't know
guess.
if California has the most
that
people.
would have been
or
my
not.
reason
A lot
to
of
pick
good stuff
California.
comes out of
You're all losers.
Shannon.
What?
Yeah, we know.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you, Tim.
Okay. In Switzerland, what animal delivers Easter eggs to kids? In Switzerland.
They don't use the bunny.
Delivers Easter eggs to children.
In Switzerland, what animal delivers Easter eggs to kids?
I'm going to go with a mountain goat.
Oh, that would be so good. That's wrong, but that would be so good.
Just crushed me
so
straight
excited.
away.
I don't know. What kind of animals are popular in Switzerland? I'm going to go with a bird. Does a bird deliver it? Eagle?
Carrie. Oh, well, you were close.
I was close with the
Yeah,
bird.
you were
Yeah.
close with the bird, but not an
Stork.
eagle.
Was a
Well,
stork.
that took away my thoughts of what it was.
Oh, what were you thinking?
I was just gonna say a chupacabra.
What is a chupacabra?
You never seen one?
I don't know. Maybe I have.
Look it up.
They're all
not.
over.
Yeah.
They're native to New Zealand.
They're definitely not.
We're in Switzerland, guys.
Well, that's why I picked
Oh.
something.
Oh, okay.
I think they're called the mini Bigfoot.
It
looks
it's
like-
the cuckoo.
It's like a hairless coyote.
The cuckoo.
The cuckoo delivers the Easter eggs.
What a weird place.
Who chose that?
A chupacabra.
Swiss.
It's like a hairless coyote kind of looking thing.
Yeah, dude, that thing's hideous. A legendary Latin American reptilian or canine-like creature that supposedly attacks livestock, especially goats, and drains their blood.
It's not real though, right?
It is legendary.
Legend.
Switzerland. You got legendary.
So you said a canary?
What?
No, cuckoo.
A cuckoo, like a cuckoo bird.
Yeah.
Those poor kids get no Easter eggs.
Their Easter eggs must be tiny.
Just nonsense.
It's like caviar. They get caviar.
And I like the way you said that. Caviar. Okay.
Wow.
Okay, Shannon, you got one?
This one I think Chris is going to get. I think he knows this one.
No pressure.
Must be biblical.
And then if I don't get it, I'm just a big loser.
Why and what controls the day that Easter falls every year?
I always wondered about that. Why and what?
Well, I mean, it's just one thing, but
You did look that up, right? Because I.
yes.
Okay.
I checked.
Well,
two
because we
different sites.
talked about it, and I said it's this, and so I just was hoping he wasn't taking my
I found
word
one
for
that
it.
it said something about Jesus having chocolate, like on, but that was probably not true.
Abraham Lincoln said it.
Yeah.
It must
So
be
we
true.
skipped that one. No, this one is science.
I would have to. It has to do with the stars. I'm going to assume. Going astrology.
No.
That's grimace.
Wait,
Technically,
Pastor Chris knows this.
it's technically not a star. But you're in the right neighborhood.
Planet.
You're just throwing out other celestial bodies. A comet?
Planet. Is that the sun?
Yeah, I mean, how do you define a planet?
I don't know. I really think they're all stars.
No, it has to do with it's connected to the moons and the cycle of the
Phases
moon.
and stuff.
There's a particular moon. I'm forgetting which one, but it's a certain amount of time after a particular moon.
It's it falls on the Sunday after the full moon after the spring equinox.
Yeah.
The first full moon after the spring equinox. And so that's actually from like March 22nd to like sometime in April. So
April, yeah.
it goes all over the place. I didn't know that till today.
Interesting.
And the reason that that's the case is because the Jewish calendar is not based on the same thing that we are. So they were much more in tune with rhythms of moon and full moons and things like that. So if you look at their calendars, oftentimes those things are connected to those phases of the moon. Which makes sense because they wouldn't have had the Gregorian calendar back in the day.
Interesting. Did not know that.
Okay.
That it?
Done, or do you want more?
Oh, we need more. Let's do it.
Okay. Households each spend how much on average on Easter annually? I love things. Baffles me how Americans
How much?
spend.
Does that
Each
include
household?
like a lot?
Each household
That would include
spend on
lunch and gifts,
Easter
probably.
annually.
Easter annually. Okay. I'm going to say. I'm going to go with $2,000, which is insane to me, but that's what I'm going to go with.
300.
$450.
Wow, you guys are all really high.
Oh.
It's $177.06. $177.06.
Less than I expected. Clearly, because I guess thousands. I mean, some people like buy.
Well, I think it goes
Presents
from people
and
just
Easter
buying.
baskets and
Here's
all
a
kinds. Couple pieces of
pieces
chocolate.
of candy to people who make huge
Sure.
Easter baskets. You also buy the clothes and the shoes,
Yeah.
and so you got to even it out with that. But yeah,
Okay. I actually feel better about us now.
yeah, I did too because I was like, oh,
Yeah.
yeah,
Nice.
okay,
Good job, us.
Thank you.
you're welcome.
That was fun.
Fantastic.
All right. Well, thanks to Shannon and Tia for always entertaining us.
That was good.
So we're going to kind of jump into Easter. And Pastor Chris, I know you have an idea of kind of how you want this episode to run. So I'm going to let you lead on.
Yeah, I think for me, there's kind of two questions. One, what are some favorite memories, favorite thoughts when you talk about Easter? What do you think about? And then what does it mean to you? Like what does it evoke in you? It's kind of just sort of what does Easter mean to us?
You want me
Do you have
to
any
start?
family traditions? Do you have any things you guys always do?
My grandpa always hid. So we'd usually go to a church service and then go over to my grandpa's house for lunch, and he would always sneak out at some point and hide the hollow bunnies, and
Good job.
all over the yard. So each one he'd written our names on there. So you had to find your specific one. You couldn't get your brother's or your mom and dad's. You had to get yours. So that was always something that we did. But Easter, growing up to me, I always remember how much emphasis was put on Easter. Like people dressed up. It was a bigger deal. There were always more people in church. And so, yeah, there was always a more emphasis put on that Sunday than any other Sunday throughout the year.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember like having
My
Easter.
family did nothing for Easter.
Oh, I don't think we did. I'm gonna be honest. Like, so my family was a little more like stricter religion kind of mentality, and so it was strictly based on Jesus, the resurrection. That was the focus. There really was no Easter bunny. Nothing like that. I mean, I remember maybe one time somebody hid like an egg or two or just handed us the egg. But like, I mean, and like my dad, he would, buy my sister and I maybe like some chocolate or a little something, but that just was not really a thing in our household. It just wasn't something you celebrated. Like it was made clear this is for Jesus. This is not in regards to the Easter bunny. So I don't really have a lot of traditions.
Which brings me to a question. How did we get to a bunny and eggs
Yeah.
for the
Was
death
this
of Jesus
technically
and his
pagan?
resurrection?
Yeah, they were. So in the spring, in Europe, in a couple of places, there were pagan fertility rituals, and bunnies are symbols of fertility. And so there was some connection, there was some appropriation there. And then the egg is always a symbol of fertility, but also the empty egg was meant to be symbolic of the empty tomb. So one of the things the church did often is, in the early times, is they would take celebrations that were pagan in orientation and and we kind of discussed this a little bit at Christmas, kind of reorient them towards Christian things, because they were like, look, if people are going to celebrate, let's try and use what symbolism exists and bend them towards the Lord. So now they're thinking about the Lord in these times instead of thinking about the pagan things that they did or didn't do or didn't understand. And again, a lot of people, probably somewhat similar to now, you did what you did. Like, we did this because this is what we do. So it's not like they even understood necessarily the pagan nature of those things. They're like, it's the spring solstice, or that's not really a thing. But they would just pick up on whatever imagery was there and then reappropriate it for connection to the gospel. And you can kind of take one or two approaches to that, and we talked about this as Christmas. Either you can get angry about that and have nothing to do with it, or you can lean into it and say, okay, so Easter eggs are around. What is the Easter egg? What is an egg symbol? Well, it's life, or it's an empty, which is like the empty tomb, which is kind of the idea behind it. So I think as long as we're pointing people towards Jesus, I think we can get caught up, and you can push this too far, but I think we can get caught up in something that is not necessarily central to it. So I think in all that, but that's where they come from is spring is a time of life, of a rising of life, and a lot of pagan religions will have ceremonies at the start of it because they want everything that's coming. We're planting fields, we're sowing crops, we want rain, we want whatever. So there's a lot of things associated with appeasing the gods to get what we need to get at the harvest. And then at the end of harvest, you would have thankfulness to the gods for whatever. Excuse me. So that's kind of the Chris Stubbs version of there. I mean, there's way more to it, but that's the
short version.
Yeah.
What was your tradition?
So my parents were kind of in line of yours in the sense that we didn't do a lot of like the pagan side of things. Now there might be sweets. So hot cross buns are a thing in England. So they come out with a hot bun that has a cut in the top of it to make the shape of a cross, and then they usually fill it with something, and then it's got like icing on the top of it. So they were like a particular sweet that came out around then. So I can remember those as a kid, especially even in New Zealand, I can remember those. We did church. You always went to church. So regardless of whether you really were or weren't, in fact, my parents initially were go on Easter, go on Christmas, because that's what everybody did. And then our priest was like, or pastor was like, you just show up these things, and he called them out. It was surrounding the birth of my brother and my christening, and there's a big story there that I'm really doing a wonderful job of summarizing right now. But they only went every so often, and then he called them out on it. But so I remember that. So we would go to church. I remember getting dressed up for it. Ham was the traditional meat, and then you would have other stuff that went with it, and then you would have the hot cross buns that went along with it. So I remember that, and then. So even in the States, I don't know if you know who Nate Bargatze is, but Nate Bargatze has this line where he talks about 90s Christian parents, and they were the most Christian parents of all. Yeah. And my parents were 90s Christian parents. And so if it was like my mother didn't like us watching Smurfs and things like that, so there was a real resistance. So we didn't really do a lot. There might be some sweets around kind of a thing, but it was church, and it was, we didn't do a lot of that stuff. And then Amy's family did Easter baskets. Like they were a deal, like they were a thing. You prepped for them, you did them, they were things. So when I started dating Amy, I had no idea. Like that first year we were dating, I didn't get an Easter basket prepared, and I didn't know I was supposed to, and so there was some learning curve there. And even now, Amy loves Easter baskets. She's like, it's just a chance to bless people, and she loves to do that. And so there are Easter things, and I find Easter baskets disturbing because then you buy a whole lot of candy. But then if you eat it fast, you get chastised, and that's always not set well with me. I'm like, if you bought it for me, I want to eat it, and at the speed at which I want to eat it, which is very quickly. So that's been. I mean, there's nothing that's huge and fast. Church is obviously always a central thing. That is the point, and in all of the context, that was always the point. Like, we do this because of what Christ did for us. So.
Yeah. I may ask this back at Christmas, but which one ranks higher, Christmas or Easter?
In terms of what?
Just for you personally, which one do you, I don't know, I guess enjoy more? or put more reverence on?
I don't know that I can separate the two because I think they're bookends of the same story. One is his arrival, and that's fantastic. One is if you're going to push me, you have to pick one. Easter is going to be it because of his death, burial, and resurrection, the significance of that. But I think they're bookends of the same story, so I think they're both worth celebrating. I do like that there's not as much wind up to and busyness around Easter.
Yes.
I think that can be that's cool. And then if you're going to pick one, our salvation rests on what happened over the Easter weekend. So I would say I'd pick that for that significance. So
Yeah, I agree. I think Easter too, and because of what you said, it is commercialized, but it's easier to shed that and focus on the death, burial, and resurrection, and the significance of that holds more weight. But yeah, doesn't discount Christmas at all. Emily?
I feel like a complete turd because
Christmas?
No, I like Easter better, but it's because it's warmer weather. It's just.
Yeah, see, I would that would make me like Christmas better because it's colder. I love
You
cold
like
weather.
that though,
I
yeah.
love cold weather. Like today, it was snowing today. I was so happy. I walked outside. I was so thrilled.
For about 10 minutes at least, it was a blizzard.
Yeah.
I mean, the wind was blowing. I couldn't see 100 feet in front of the truck.
Yeah.
Driving, so yeah.
Well, but I wasn't
keep it.
worried that we're going to get umpteen inches and have to shovel.
Right.
So I just fully enjoyed it today.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true. But still.
Okay.
Yeah. You guys got all holy on me.
We did.
And I'm like,
spiritual.
I just like it because it's warm.
And I can respect that. I do like the life that is erupting, as we're looking
True.
at it here, like the green that's coming and the flowers that are coming, and
Turkey season.
that is
death.
not.
He's talking about life, and you're talking about
Yeah,
death.
you're talking
It is
about-
life. It's straight up life.
It is death. What are you talking about? It's not turkey
turkey.
observing, it's turkey hunting. And the key difference there is death.
And you're preparing for future holidays. Thanksgiving. See, it's the gift that keeps on giving. So
You can keep trying, but I'm not buying.
I'm getting a terrible look right now.
All right, Tim, let's rescue her. What are your family traditions, Tim?
Well, growing up, we definitely did the baskets. My mom's really crafty, so she'd always make us cool things filled with that wonderful plastic grass. The color
I
plastic
hate the grass. I hate the
That's
grass.
what I remember about a kid is the green plastic grass. And that's kind of something we did with our kids as well as they were young. And Melissa's very similar. She was so excited to go get the stuff. In fact, she's already bought candy, and she's like, go hide this in your office.
Aw.
So, she's getting prepared. So that was kind of our big one. And, of course, I love church, and I loved it as a kid too. You get all dressed up, and
Yes.
and it's an event, but it's an event for Jesus. That's what I like about Easter Sunday mornings.
Good thoughts.
So yeah,
An event for Jesus. I like that. So what from the Easter weekend? And I'll say this, I call an Easter weekend one of the things that we did last year that we're doing again this year, and hopefully this will be a bit of a reminder if you hadn't remembered. We're doing a community Good Friday service. That'll be coming up on Friday, and man, last year when we did it, it was one of the first ones. It's probably not the first one I've ever done, but one of the first ones I've done in recent memory, and I thought it was so powerful to gather together with people. And one of the other pastors who I know was commenting on, as we're planning for this one, just about people's appetite to worship the Lord. It was like we started worship, so we do scripture readings or readings and then worship and reading and worship and kind of intersperse it. And he said, I just felt like people's appetite to worship the Lord together was palpable. And I'm like, that is so true. So I want to encourage you, if you're listening and you weren't planning, to come on out. It's at our church. It'll start at 7, and it was such a powerful moment to gather together. We tend to focus so often on what divides us, and that for me was a really powerful moment of what unites us. We're united in His death, His burial, and resurrection, and so that was cool. So let me put a little plug in there for that.
What's the address of the church if people want to come?
2601 27th Street, Bedford, Indiana, 47421.
There you go. In case they want to come.
No, I'd love it.
And what's the time?
7 o'clock. We'll start
Okay.
at 7 here at the church. And it's about an hour long, so it's not an eternal, but it was so, and that was the thing that struck me, was the power of the worship in that moment. And I'm excited for what's happening at Easter. This year at our church, we're going to have worship like we always do. And then the kids are helping me with an illustrated sermon, so that's going to be awesome. Called The Garden, the Curtain, and the Cross. And so I'm excited about that. So that'll be fun. So coming out, be a part of that. If you want to, you should, you need to. So, but my question is, give me one thing from the weekend that you're looking forward to. And this would be a spiritually oriented thing, something that you appreciate about this season, this moment. Give me one thing that you're going to already anticipate.
I have
Go ahead.
an
Yeah.
answer. So for me, it may just be me. I don't know if other people feel this way, but I see it as like a weekend of rest in a sense, spiritually, like, because you're constantly reminded what this time of year is about. And so it's just a nice time to slow down and reflect what everything is about in your foundation with Christ. Like this, like you had said earlier, this is the beginning. This is kind of what starts it. You know, he died and rose again. And it's so powerful, and it just makes you reflect and think back, wow, like someone loved me enough to die on a cross for my sins that we take for granted so often. And so it's nice that I just kind of get to sit back and reflect and rest in his love for us.
Yeah. I would agree. Like there seems to be I'm more able to shut out all the noise. Like Christmas, there's just so much going on.
Yes.
But at Easter, you can kind of focus on actually the death, burial, and resurrection, and the powerfulness of that, because it is, it's undescribable, really, to think about that. And sometimes too, I think if I could be good enough, he wouldn't have had to do that for me. Like if I could been the guy that I was supposed to be, then there would be no need for that. But I know I can't be. So, that hangs on me sometimes.
And I don't think it's, that's just absolute false condemnation is what that is.
Yeah.
Because the reality is, if we possess the capacity to be that good, he wouldn't have come, because then we could have been and chose not to. We don't even possess the capacity to be that good. That's why he came.
Yeah.
Timmy?
I really love the worship on Easter mornings at church. I'm going to keep coming back to that because there's a different energy. A more people are enter in so much more easily. The worship team's usually really excited about it. I'm excited to take part of it in the role I play. It's just a really cool thing, and that's it. The worship is so cool.
Yeah, and we are blessed with a great worship team too.
Phenomenal worship team. Yeah. I as I was processing this, and this is a very familiar piece of scripture, it's Romans 8:11. If the spirit of him who raised Jesus from the dead dwells in you, he who raised Christ Jesus from the dead will also give life to your mortal bodies through his spirit who dwells in you. And when I think about the biology of what happens, the absolute trashing that Jesus takes for us on the cross, and in the lead up to it, and the whipping, and all of, I was watching something not long ago where the guy was talking about the crown of thorns, and what it wasn't a little, this guy was saying it wasn't a little circlet, it was an entire helmet, and it was rammed on him, and then the beating and the physical effects. You don't often pause to think it, and this is a moment where you think about the biology of his suffering for me. It kind of takes me back to the first time I watched Passion of the Christ. Like that, those scenes, it's so visceral and disturbing, and yet it's what he did for us, and the story doesn't end there. And then he gets wrapped up and thrown in a tomb, and he sits there. And I don't know if you've ever been past dead things, but it does not take long for them to to get cooking. And the biology of God bringing life back to that dead body, literally breathing into it again, and that he raises him from the dead. The biology of that, as I was processing, knowing we're going to be having, I'm like, God, that's staggering. What you actually did. We talk about him being raised to life, and that's right, and we blow through that, and we know it's powerful, but literally what he did biologically, what he went through biologically, and what the Spirit does biologically in his body is amazing. So when he says, if the Spirit who raised Jesus from the dead dwells in you, so the credit for the raising of Jesus from the dead is to the Spirit. So the Spirit is the author of this biological renewal in him. If he dwells in you, he who raised Christ Jesus from the dead will also give life to your mortal bodies. The hope of that statement, if he can do that with a 3-day dead Jesus, what can he do in me? And of course, he doesn't always heal. And healing is, oh man, it's squirrely is the word I like to use, because it's a thing where I've watched things happen that there's no other explanation than absolute healing. And then I've watched things not happen, and there's no other explanation than God chose not to heal. And so there's a whole psychological world there. But the capacity that is in God to give life to our mortal bodies, to me, it's such a hope-filled moment. I love the dressing up. I love the special meal. I love the celebratory season. I love coming together. It's odd, but it's the one Sunday, even more so than Christmas, it's the one Sunday of the year where everybody is like, I'm going to church today. So when I look at our numbers, it's so disjointed on Easter Sunday morning. I mean, we averaged 262 people last year. Last year's Sunday morning was 360 people. Wow. So that means everybody and their brother. What I loved about it, when we looked around and we commented afterwards, there wasn't a lot of new people last year. It was just a lot of the people who call this church home, they just said, we're coming to church today. And I'm like, that's a cool moment. It's one of the few Sundays where we actually all gather together as a church body. And there's a lot of reasons as to why and all that kind of stuff. And so even as I approach this year, I'm like, Lord, what is it going to look like? And I hope we have some guests. I hope we have some people that show up. I hope we have, but I'm kind of just anticipating, Lord, it's just a moment where we all come together. And I'm like, man, that there's hope in that, and there's excitement in that, and everybody's around, and Amy and her team will have a picture spot, and we'll all take a picture, and it'll take entirely too long. And the kids won't want to do it, and there'll be stuff. But it's such a hope-filled. It's a very sobering Friday. Yeah. And it's a very hope-filled Sunday. It's that same power. And what I love about this verse is it's not just like, he's super powerful, and he's powerful because he's powerful, and he's powerful. Look at him, he's powerful. But he says he's powerful, but it will also give life to your mortal bodies. There is this promise of life for me because of the life that was given then. Man, that thrills me. That fills me with all kinds of just hope, just flat out hope. I think that's probably, and that's why I like Christmas as well. It's hope-filled. Christ came, it's hope-filled, and that's probably the connecting point for me there. But as I look at it and as I think about it, I'm like, man, this is such a cool moment for all the reasons that you've talked about, for all the stuff. So I love it. It's where we celebrate what he did, and in that celebration, there should be hope.
Absolutely.
And if we want to make a shout out too, if you're listening to this podcast and you don't have a church home,
absolutely,
we would love for you to join us on Easter Sunday. Even before then, it doesn't have to be Easter Sunday when you can start. Our services start at 10 a.m., but Easter would be a great time for you to come in and worship the Lord and just see the entire meaning of what Jesus is all about.
Yep.
We should celebrate Easter quarterly.
Yes. That means more chocolate bunnies.
Yes. Amen. No, that's not right.
Just kidding.
That's not right.
Just kidding. It's fine. I have this is kind of off topic, but I have this one memory of Easter. So I worked at Hallmark for a long time. And, they really get into the holidays and stuff. And somehow I got roped into being the Easter Bunny. And I don't know how old that costume was. And I can find you a picture. There's somewhere. But the inside of that costume literally smelled like the south end of a northbound donkey. Like that was the rankest thing. And honestly, more times than not, I scared the kids instead of making them happy. Like that's what I don't understand, the appeal of the Easter Bunny. They seem to me they're more creepy, but
Emily, the Easter terror.
Yeah, especially when they're life-size costumes.
yes, when it's life size,
creepy.
they're creepy.
Yeah, the eyes do it.
Oh yeah.
I think that's a perfect illustration. You went from death to life.
Wow.
The inside was death, the outside was life.
Wow. Yeah.
How's that?
That's one way to put
I
it.
turned a corner on that. Dude.
Thank you.
I've been in a few of those suits, and they are no joke.
They stink.
So random neural firing here. I was recently scrolling. And have you seen the videos where they have like the little like self-inflating costume with the little you know what I'm doing, and they spray something on the inside of it? So they have these little costumes that are like the inflatable animals.
They've got a fan.
They've got a little fan on the inside, and then people will take fart spray and spray them in there because the person who's trapped inside is one of the funniest things I have ever seen.
Nasty, man.
I may never get in one of those for fear of somebody doing that to me.
Your inner child, I think, is coming out by how much all of you boys seem to enjoy.
We all started laughing.
I've laughed at more than one of those.
Yeah.
But you have the
people lose their
character, the
minds.
blown up animal character, and then all of a sudden it just turned.
It starts freaking out.
Like hitting their head on the ground.
Because you can't see the person. All you can see is this.
Yeah, you can't see the person, and the person starts freaking out, and so they start like jerking and moving and
They
yelling.
can't get out.
They can't get out. It's it's absolutely horrible.
I've never seen this.
Okay, we'll have
You're better than us.
Clearly, all of us have.
Yeah.
We need to show this on Sunday morning Easter?
No, probably
Not on Easter. Probably not on
Be an
Easter.
illustration for another time.
Yeah,
Okay.
Maybe a Wednesday night.
Got it. Got it.
Next year's sermon.
Next year's sermon. Okay.
Sorry,
I'll look
that
this
was we went from very serious to absolute nonsense very quickly.
It's fine. We need some of that.
We do.
What else? What else you got for Easter? Any thoughts?
I mean, for me, that's it.
It's simple.
And I love the simplicity of it.
Yes.
It's very focused, and it's life focused. It's hope focused. That's beautiful.
Yeah, I think that's great.
Yep.
I think the world could use a little more simplicity.
Absolutely.
For sure.
And hot cross buns, but not the ones with raisins in them.
What do they fill them with?
Different things. Not everybody always fills them. Sometimes they'll fill them with jellies or jams, if you will. But it's the icing. It's the hot, warm, pull it apart, eat it. But some people put raisins in there, and that is of the devil. So.
I don't know. That sounds pretty good to me. Yeah. I would eat it. Vegemite, no. But I would eat
You have never tried Vegemite. You don't even know.
I have smelled it. It does not smell good.
There's lots of things that don't smell good that we eat.
That's true.
That is very true. Are you one of those people that goes to the grocery store and smells it and then decides whether to take it or not?
Not at all.
Who does that?
Apparently, Emily did.
Well, I mean, if it doesn't smell good or if it smells...
It depends what you're smelling.
I just go by dates and mold.
Dates and mold.
Do you get a discount? You get a discount if it's molded.
That's fair.
And dates sometimes too. Yeah. If there's a fly buzzing around it, we've got to end this episode.
We do.
It's bad.
This time.
Okay. Well, it was kind of a short episode. Just a quick review of Easter, what it means to us. So glad you could join with us tonight. And Gary had mentioned in the last podcast, if you didn't catch it, we would love for you to share all our episodes on social media, get the word out about our church, about the podcast, spread the love of Jesus. And then also, if you see us on YouTube, try to subscribe to us. That way you get notifications when we send out new videos, sermons. You can do the sermons online as well. So We appreciate your time and your support for all of us, and we'll see you next time on The Cast.
This has been The Cast, a podcast of Bedford First Assembly of God in Bedford, Indiana, with Gary West, Emily Porter, Tia Hiles, Shannon Hiles, and Tim Ray. Listen for new episodes of The Cast every Monday.